Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to the Sun Tribe, Rebel Sun. Tonight I am hosting a gentleman's panel. I hope everyone is ready to have a good time. You're going to get some information, chill, kick back. Let's get this show started, guys. I'm going to bring on Conscious TV. What's up, Conscious?
Hi. I am happy to be here once again. I'm always excited for the gentleman's panel. So, hi to everyone.
Okay.
I don't know what the hell he doing, y'all. So just give him a moment.
Girl, can you put your panties back in the? Put them back on because your slip is showing, honey. What's up, Captivating?
Hey, what's going on, you guys? What's up, Rebel? Hey, how you doing, chat? Welcome. What's up, Conscious? How are you?
Hi.
What's good?
What's up, Donna?
Okay. Love to love you, baby. Our guest, we have two guests that are here to join us and give you guys some eye candy because they're both single. DJ, what's up?
Hey. Good to see you guys again. Hello, fellas. All of you are looking good across this panel. I'm loving it.
All right.
Thank you.
Shimmy, Conscious. I like that.
Yeah, obviously,
Just a little bit.
I suppose this is my friend that I'm in a relationship. Obviously, we didn't know we were together. Last but not least is our last guest panel member that came on, Yamik.
Hello, everyone.
Yami, DJ Yami.
Wait,
Hey.
Rebel. How do you know I'm single, Rebel?
Because you said it before.
Oh, I did.
Oh.
Yes, you did. I have a good memory.
Yeah, unless you
Darn
got
it.
something that quick. Unless you went.
I mean, it's not like impossible. I mean,
Okay.
Yes.
Smash the carpet.
Hello,
but,
Faith. Hello, Lynn T. Good to see you.
Hey, K-Tree, Giselle, and T. Faith is a substance, Sharon. Hope you guys are ready just to kick back, y'all. We're just gonna do a little light, good time. Cap, what's been going on this week with you guys? What's been going on over on Cap Hill?
Well, a lot's been going on this week, but just some breaking news that I don't know if everybody knows, but federal judges have stopped DeJoy from continuing his rampage on the postal system. However, unfortunately, a lot of the damage is already done, so it's a little too late. But at least it could stop some of the bleeding. So we'll see how that goes. But again, election day is 47 days away. So please get prepared. Get prepared.
That time is going by. It's going to be here sooner than later. You know, everyone get out there, vote. Don't complain about anything. If you don't vote, you should just be quiet on anything. Don't speak on anything. But guys, the president, he's been acting a fool. He always is doing something. I wanted to see what you guys thought about the segregation with him talking about, he recently stated that he will keep low-income housing out of the suburbs and rescinded an Obama-era anti-segregation regulation. Do you believe this was, something to promote segregation or attempt to preserve the middle class? I'm going to start with you, Cap.
It was a dog whistle. It's a dog whistle to all of his, his white supremacists. I don't know what other way to say it and try to be nice about it. It was a dog whistle to his white supremacists. Of course, when they think of Section 8, they think of people of color. They don't actually even look into the data to actually know that white Americans largely are a part of that Section 8 development, especially in places like those red belt, those Bible Belt states. They have a lot of white applicants who are part of the Section 8 committee or group. But of course, with media and everything else, they just look at us. So when you hear Section 8, that is code word for people of color. And that's funny that he could say, "Oh, we're doing this to keep, Section 8 people out of the suburbs," but the people from the suburbs seem to be coming in droves to the inner city. So I'm trying to figure out which one is it. Can he keep them from coming to the inner city and changing it around and putting a Starbucks on every corner and things of that nature? Well, it's a little weird.
Okay. It's definitely, I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. Conscious TV.
But Trump is an idiot, and yes, all of his little language is so gaslighting, keeping these thugs out of our communities, keeping these lower income people out of our communities, even though Caucasians make up the bigger demographic of people who actually apply and actually get approved for government assistance across the board. He knows societally what we think in our minds when we hear certain trigger words, because he's very aware of the generalities and the stereotypes that exist. But I don't even think that Trump is even trying to preserve the middle class. I think he's just trying to preserve the number one spot. Trump, to me, comes across as an individual who will say whatever he has to in front of whomever he needs to. So if it was the Black community he was in front of, I mean, he would be pandering to them. And he's in front of white America. He needs their vote. He needs their allegiance. So he's going to say those things because he knows that white people, in fact, do not want to be bothered. But you know what? Black people don't even want Section 8 people moving into their neighborhoods either. But nobody definitely not wants that more than white America. So Trump, my ass.
Okay. Jay.
There are a couple of people that Trump really appeals to. He appeals to the 1% because the promises made, promises kept is really for them. Those tax cuts and those things for the corporations are for them. So the 1% have been getting what they really want. Unfortunately, those 99% who happen to be white don't realize that they're being duped, and he's only using them to get what he wants. And so those people who are lower and middle class are going to be paying a lot of taxes for those wealthy people who are not paying it. And then, unfortunately, there are those Black people who are Trump supporters who I think suffer from self-hate. So you have those types of people. And we know, I live in the suburbs. So Black people are already in the suburbs. Section 8 people already live in the suburbs. They allot certain homes. And let me say this. People use Section 8 so they can pay for their homes. They can pay their mortgage. And so, whether you want people there or not, long as Section 8 is there and long as people can pay their mortgage and be guaranteed their mortgage payment, there's going to be Section 8.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, Meek.
I believe so. I think that it's definitely an agenda by him to keep things segregated or attempt to. But like we said, I think Christian said it, a lot of white people are on Section 8 too, probably a lot more than we think. So, I mean, who is exactly trying to keep out? Just poor people or poor Black people or just poor people, period? What exactly is he trying to do? But we already know he's trying to do. He's trying to keep it, just poor people, and white people, rich people. So I guess he does have an agenda. We'll just have to see exactly how far he'll go with that.
Okay, you can't put anything past him. DJ.
Well, first of all, can y'all hear me clearly? Because I'm always having issues. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. About a year ago, I was watching this documentary during Black History Month, and it was in the 70s, and they just passed the law where there won't be no more segregation, et cetera, et cetera. Black people can go to school with white people, this, that, and the other. So they was interviewing this lady, and it was very interesting because she said, I don't have a problem with the colored. That's what she said. She said, but I just can't live with them. The interviewer asked her, well, why? She said, because when they come, they bring the property value down. And that's literally what she said. I wish I could find it on YouTube. That's just literally what she said. And I believe that Trump on the cool kind of has that mentality. And when he thinks of Section 8, he thinks of black and brown people. But to all of y'all's point, white people are on food stamps more than other people. I know people that work for food stamp offices. They get on government acceptance. Now, Houston, and I'm going to move quickly. Houston, and Jay Wilson can probably vouch. He's been in Houston. Houston's it's different because you can be in a nice, fabulous area and then go 3 red lights down and it's like, bam, you in the hood. So when you see that, you kind of get a clear understanding of why, okay, well, let's just keep the Section 8 over here because it's a different type of mentality. Keep them out of the suburbs because I'm with Jay Wilson. I lived in the suburbs, so I know how it is to not have to be in an area with Section 8 versus not Section 8. It's a huge difference. So I'm not a Trump supporter, but I do understand keeping, Section 8 over here and the suburbs over there. But I don't want people to feel like this is only for colored people or Latinos, because it's not. It's for anybody that needs assistance.
And DJ, can I say something, DJ? And that's the United States government called that situation with redlining. They purposely told white people they cannot sell to black people. If you got to sell your home, it has to be to people of your color. And that's the U.S. government that did that. And that's why we have our urban projects or low-income areas, because of the government. They push those agendas. They set those rules. And now the fair housing is trying to catch up because those were the same policies that they had. And it wasn't poor blacks. It was wealthy doctors and lawyers who could not live in those white neighborhoods, and they had the money to afford it. So at one time, all black people lived in the same neighborhood, no matter your income. That's a white man's invention, not black people.
They did, but they also did separate themselves as well. Like there's in Queens, there's a place in St. Albans where a lot of the wealthy black elite during the time of the 40s and 50s lived. James Brown has a house there.
Slade Park, right?
Yeah. What's the name? Can't even think of. Ella Fitzgerald had a house there. Many of the entertainers of that time all had lived there, but it's like inches away from other parts of the black neighborhood. So that is very true. They still had to live, we still had to live amongst each other.
Let me say this just for the chat. See, over here, you're in a different environment. My mods will block the hell out of you if you come over here with it. So just keep that in mind. Be respectful to anyone that's up here on the platform. If you're disrespectful, mods, I want you to block without a second thought. Now, I think that Donald Trump is he's letting those that put him in office know, I'm for you still, because the whites that voted him in office were fearful of, the geography of the country changing. So with him saying that is, we're going to keep you guys safe. We're not letting those others in here, and I think that if we're not careful, he'll be reelected again if you don't go out and vote, because he's going to feed on those fears. He's going to, I'm for you guys. We are together. Those people, those people that are rapists, they're going to bring drugs into your neighborhoods. They're going to do a lot of things to bring down your property value. And we all know about white flight. So they ran to the suburbs. It got to the point where we can afford to stay in the same places that they can live in. So they're running back into the inner cities, and they're revitalizing the inner cities because it's closer to, everything. So they're doing that here in Houston. Places that were drug infested are now the areas that are sought after. But they raised the property taxes up so high that those older blacks couldn't afford it. Those retired people, they left their homes to their kids, and the kids didn't keep up with it. And those developers came in and bought up all that land. And now it's the whole deal. You would have never known that there were prostitution and drugs in the area, not even 15 years ago. So do anyone else want to add to that, before we go to the next topic?
I believe that Trump is.
Okay.
I believe that he is using. I don't think he cares about his people, and I say that because it's amazing how people are still going to his rallies. He is so hell bent on pushing a vaccine for COVID to be released, so he can say, I did this during my presidency." I
Mhm.
urge you guys that's watching in this chat, tell everybody, do not rush to go get a vaccine. You don't know, nothing has been approved yet. It takes time for stuff. It took months and months, maybe years for the regular flu to come out. They can't find a string for it. He's hell bent on finding on getting a vaccine. It's hard to find something that's going to fight that string of the flu. And I
Mhm.
believe that he's riding high off that for his presidential campaign, and it's not fair.
Well, just like the stimulus, he was trying to pass that so he could look good. Who puts their names on the checks? That the country, this is not your personal checks that you've given people.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
so I wanted to go into this next topic, which fits in line with this, and this is the stereotypes, or some of the stereotypes on Black people rooted in truth. What can we do as a community to stop the perpetuating of these stereotypes, Conscious?
Stereotypes are definitely rooted in truth. My issue is not with stereotypes because I don't have an issue with the truth. My issue is when people decide that it's okay to judge in other
Wait, wait.
people. Uh,
Someone got another something open in the background, or
It's probably me.
okay, well, yeah, it went away. But Conscious, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Stereotypes are definitely rooted in truth, but I don't have an issue with stereotypes. I have an issue with people weaponizing stereotypes, like when you find the need to stalk, like in the case of Trayvon Martin, a Black man in a hoodie warranted some suspicious behavior that ended up fatal for Trayvon Martin. The way that ghetto Black people are perceived in Korean stores, hurry up and buy. I mean, police stopping a melanated person in a high luxury vehicle. So I don't really care about the stereotypes. I mean, there is a certain reality to certain groups of people that tend to have certain personality types, which is perfectly fine. What I don't like is the judgment, and I don't like the unfair treatment of people just because people might be in this category or might be in this particular club. I mean, coming up in school, there was lots of cliques. You had the preps, you had the jocks, you had the gothic kids, you had the band geeks, you had the nerds, you had the cheerleaders, you had all these people, which obviously birds of a feather flock together. But once again, when you start using stereotypes to hurt people and to remove dignity and safety from people, I would rather apply the pressure to the people who do that versus anything else. So I mean, but stereotypes, of course, yeah, they have a truth to them.
What do you, Cap?
I agree with Conscious. I mean, stereotypes do have some sort of truth to them. But again, it is important to know how they're weaponized. And I think that makes the difference. I mean, comedians do it all the time. It's kind of like, it's something in which you can crack a joke about, a particular group, but it brings everybody together because they know of some familiarity to it. And I think that's just what kind of stereotypes are in a sense. It's the problem when it becomes something totally different, as in people saying, oh, all Black people like fried chicken and watermelon and those type of things that really make you put the brakes on a lot of it. But it comes from lack of education, and even people who want to actually be educated and feel the need to want to know more or go past what they know. But that only comes with a willingness of a person and people. So we have to start there first.
Hey, King Payne, glad you could join us.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Nothing
Okay.
but chilling.
Yeah, me. What's your stance on that?
I'm sorry.
I do believe that there are stereotypes that probably are true for every ethnicity, but I think we have to learn how to like decompartmentalize those thoughts because not every. I know black people don't like watermelon. I know black people don't like fried chicken. So you know what I mean. Not every Jewish person is cheap. Like there's different things. Not every Chinese person don't know how to drive. So you know there's different things we have to start. Be like, okay, well, this is not for everybody.
Right.
And that can go in different parts of our lives. You know what I mean? So we have to decompartmentalize.
Right. DJ.
You know, being a diverse type, having a diverse spirit, I can't begin to stereotype people. Me being a black person with dreads, I don't want nobody to be like, okay, what is this thug finna go do? Because you just saw somebody, a black person with dreads on the news for smashing into a Metro PCS store stealing phones.
All right.
Now you see me suited and booted. Now you are suspicious of me. You know, and this falls back onto the leader of this country. How dare he get on national television and say that Mexicans are rapists? How dare he get on national television and say that we're going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it? You're trying to bankrupt a country that doesn't really have any money. There's no government out there. So they really finna come over here. If that's not what you want, I wouldn't do that. You know, so I don't stereotype people at all. And another thing, as black, and I notice that people that I know personally, they always say, I'm just trying to make it in this white man's world. Oh, the white man not trying to give me a job. No race has a higher superior than any other race. I don't care who you are. My doctor is from India. That man knows so much that I don't even know. You know, so I don't judge people because of who they are, where they come from. I don't stereotype people. A lot of white people and Mexicans love black music. I've been to concert and I've seen a lot of white people and Hispanics and other races at black artists. You know, I listen to Katy Perry and Britney Spears. You know, I don't just stay in the urban zone because that's where they want us to be. I venture out. I'm not limited.
Come on, DJ. Yes.
Yes. Oh, I need a cocktail. I should have fixed me some Hennessy.
Okay.
That's a stereotype.
Whew.
That's a stereotype. All black people don't drink Hennessy.
Oh,
Yeah, it is. That is true. But I need to. Hey, Jazz A.
I want to give a shout out to Metro PCS. Come on, DJ. You be knowing them Metro PCS. Well, anyway.
Tony, I don't know. Go ahead.
First of all, who create these stereotypes? You know,
You're right, Rockwell.
I look at Looney Tune and how they stereotype black people, Mexican people, Asian people, all of these people, and they're usually the ones, for the most part, doing these stereotypes. I think we need to be very careful in how we do that. That T-shirt that used to say it's a black thing, you wouldn't understand. But there are some black things I don't understand because I don't do those black things. So we are not a monolith, and I think people need to be judged on a one-on-one basis, because even a group of people are not going to be the same. Even twins are not going to be the same. Right. There are some things that we share in common with some black people, you know, and we're going to, you know, say hello. Now, the chicken thing, now it's funny. In my group, in my neighborhood, every time somebody dies, you go get some Popeyes, a Kentucky Fried, a Church's chicken, and you sit down over there to that lady's house. But that's not a negative thing. But I think stereotypes become a problem when they become negative and they're used to describe all of these people. So all of these people, all of these black men here are this is all black gay men do this. You don't know all black gay men. You don't know everybody. So you cannot stereotype. You got to treat people on a one-on-one basis, and you need to see who creates the stereotypes for other people. And it's usually the Caucasian dude and the media, because you can see it in the marketing. that does it. Now black people are the prime because we have Black Panther, and now Shonda Rhimes is writing, and now black people can sell, because it was always thought that black people would not sell a box office movie. So who are making these decisions? And we need to be in places where we can be seen.
Okay. King Payne. And then I'll let you had something to say, Conscious. I'm gonna let him respond, and then you can add something to that.
Absolutely. No, I was just saying, because Brother Jay Wilson said that they be sending Turkish chicken down to everybody's house when somebody passed. Everybody don't like fried chicken, Brother Jay Wilson. See y'all over there stereotyping.
Well, you can get baked chicken too. They send all kind of chicken. So,
all black people don't like fried chicken. All gay black men don't want your husband. All black people ain't loud. All black people ain't ratchet. You know what I'm saying? You know, the stereotypes, I don't agree with any of them, because it causes people to be closed-minded, and they it's like they are standoffish and they don't want to get to know us or the community, and you know, they just believe whatever they hear. So, you know, when people ask, I just be like, believe whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna take the opportunity to actually get to know us black people, then I'm not gonna explain it to you. I'm not gonna waste any time explaining it to you. No, the stereotypes aren't real. But if you think I'm mean, black, aggressive, then so be it. You're not the type of person I want to be around anyway. I get that a lot. A lot of people think that I'm mean, or I'm black, or I'm stuck up. Don't talk to him. You know what I'm saying? And I hate when I get the angry black man role. You know what I'm saying? You complain about anything in the grocery store, all of a sudden, calm down, sir. You know, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm calm. You calm down. Okay?
I'm calm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm real calm. Okay? Don't be pushing your stereotypes up on me. They like to push their thoughts up on you. Girl, you ain't gonna sit up here and make like I'm the angry black man up in her. That's not how this is going down. I'm calm. Okay, can I see your manager? Yeah.
That's right. Like I said, all black men who have locks don't stink, because some people got clean locks.
Okay.
I just wanted to say
that. Exactly. That part is true.
What you want to add to that, Conscious?
I kind of like stereotypes because, I mean, for me personally, I kind of like them because I feel like it gives other people an opportunity to know what they're getting themselves into. When people see me come in and be like, oh, this crazy hoe is going Jerry Springer the place. That's very true. This crazy hoe is going to Jerry Springer the place. And I'm glad that you know this. So, you know, act accordingly. Now, stereotypes are interesting because the only people whose stereotypes I'm really concerned about are white America stereotypes, because they're the only ones who really have the power to really weaponize stereotypes against groups. None of us have that power and privilege. So I don't really care about the way that Mexicans perceive black people or the way that even Asian people perceive black people. I really only care about Amy and Karen and Billy and Cody and, you know,
hold on, something in the background, y'all.
Huh?
Okay, finish. No, it was just something.
We're having a feedback situation, but yeah, no, I was just going to say, you know, the only stereotypes that I care about are Amy's and Karen's and Cody's and Billy's. Everybody else, you know, miss me.
Yeah, I think that even the stereotypes that they have, like when I stayed in the neighborhood, when in the suburbs, there was a lady walking her dog, and she was walking by the house that I was there leasing, and was like, okay, are you the gardener? Now keep in mind, I had a 2-door sports car, and you see me with some scrubs on the bottom. Why would you think I was a gardener? What was the work truck at? Where was there anything that I could have tools to be doing a freaking yard? So I do think people have some stereotypes, even when I go into like the Asian-owned stores and they're following you around, or they're, you know, and I'll stare them down and say, okay, are you trying to assist me? I don't need any assistance right now. Why am I being followed? You know, I get quick like that if they follow me because you're in a black neighborhood and you're treating black people like you don't want them in your store when you're taking their money, our money. So I think some stereotypes are definitely used against groups of people. But some stereotypes, there is a hint of truth in some of them because some cultures have specific ways that the majority of the people act like. There are certain you can say there's a majority of these people in this group, they have this similar characteristic. That's true. It's from my experience, that's what I've observed. I don't know if you guys.
Well, I agree with King Payne, though. I believe that sometimes it limits people to really get to know people because you already have a preconceived notion, and that may not be true. And I think that it can stop people, just like it used to bother me that in some of our black churches, they would love to go to the bus station and the places where people were downtrodden, but they were afraid to go to those nice homes and everything because, you know, you can easily minister to people who you think you're better than. So I think you just have to be very careful with that, long as people have an open mind. Some things are, you see a pattern, but even with that, that doesn't mean that that whole group of people maybe share in that situation. I just think you gotta be very careful.
I want to add something to that. Like, even what's going on, like in New York, like with New York trying to accommodate their homeless population by moving the homeless into hotels within upper and middle class neighborhoods, and you see white people like literally having whole seizures and fits because homeless people are being provided for in their community, and I'm just like, white people also get to make enough noise to make things happen, but black people complain about their roads not being done, the homelessness and crime rate within their communities, and nothing happens whatsoever because the only people who have the power to move the mountain right now are white people, and that's very, very unfortunate.
I want to say something as well because what of conscious what he just said, because I'm living that right now. As far as like, you guys see where I live, all these luxury buildings, and these white people are going nuts, and these homeless people are outside. They're going insane around here. They are mad. They are angry. Even the building down a block from mine is like a big celebrity building that has a lot of celebrities. A homeless man.
Wait, is that Oregon?
No, I live in New York.
Oh, okay.
A homeless man followed a lady, not Oregon. A homeless man followed a lady into her lobby and was living in one of the vacant apartments in this luxury building. And the homeless people, the rich people are going crazy over here. They don't know what to do. And it is kind of weird because I've never experienced stereotypes like until I moved here, like being racially profiled until I moved into the neighborhood. And I've been living in New York all my life. But in this particular neighborhood, I've been accused of this not being my apartment because, you know, oh my God, you must have roommates. You must be living with someone else. No, I live by myself. Why is it so unbelievable? A black man lives in the neighborhood by himself. Even I went to the store, the grocery store, the Chinese man followed me around the grocery store. I'm like, why are you following me? He's like, the checkout line's over there. If I'm ready to check out, I'll check out when I'm ready to check out.
Right.
The checkout line. Like, I'm 35 years old. I know how to go to check out the damn groceries.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Don't be trying to
happen.
rush me up out of her. Don't be trying to rush me up out of her.
Right.
Oregon, I know. Yeah, Oregon, girl. They don't see no smoke. Oregon all smoky right now.
Even
I'm in New York, not Oregon.
Even when I dated someone, this white guy that I was dating, when I would ride with him, I noticed something that he would do. If I got in, he would listen. First, he would be listening to soft rock. So when I get in, he used to turn to the hip hop stations. And I did the second time he did it, I had to check him on. I said, hey, I was like, Jeff, do you think that just because I'm black that I listen to Lil Wayne but I like some of their music, but I listen to a lot of different things. I listen to a lot of different types of music. So why would you just feel that because a black person, we're gonna like, you know, it's just all of us like Patti LaBelle. We all want to be that. Yeah. So I do think some stereotypes are just something that people is maybe passed down or they watch TV. When people come here from other countries, they have ideas of what black people are like just by what they see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
But domestic abuse. Guys, after everything that's been happening with Tamar, and the guy is David Adefeso.
Fesso.
Fesso.
Adam.
Adefeso. Okay, he's Nigerian or he's
Nigerian.
Nigerian.
okay. So he put out he filed a restraining order against Tamar. What are you guys? Do you think there's a difference in domestic abuse as far as men versus women? If the roles were reversed like they are right now, are they taken as seriously? Yamik, I'll let you go first.
First, I think we have to realize the difference between an abusive relationship and a relationship that's volatile, because we don't know if they were fighting each other, or was Tamar attacking him only, or was David attacking her. There's a big difference between someone being in an abusive relationship and a volatile relationship. Big difference. So none of us were there. We don't know. We're going by what he says, what she says, but going by Tamar's track record, we don't know exactly what is to be true. And I kind of feel bad for her because she said Vince was beating her ass too. So now is Vince who's beating your ass, and now he's beating your ass too. So is it you, or is it the guys you picked that are beating your ass? Which one? Or are you in volatile relationships over and over again? Is it just you getting with guys and y'all both fighting each other, or what is it? Because we don't know.
Is it a particular type? It seems.
He looks a little shady, so.
Would it make more sense if they were fighting each other?
Okay.
It wouldn't make more sense, but it would just give a more. We have to learn the difference between the two. Like some people think, because she's a woman, that it's not okay that he's hitting her. But if she's attacking him, what are you supposed to do? At a certain point, like what are you supposed to do when someone keeps attacking you, whether you're a man or a woman?
Oh, even on that reality show with the couples where the guy choked the woman. What's the show? He choked his wife. The girl, there is like a couple.
Boot camp.
Okay, so people are up in arms, but this one, and she had threw what, apples or oranges and hit him in the face. So his reaction, that may have been a pent up response that she got. DJ, what do you think? What's your stance on that?
I kind of see it as, instead of racism, it's sexism, meaning, well, women can't drive 18-wheelers because that's what men do. Women can't be firefighters. That's what men do. I believe that women are capable to do everything that a man can do, even in abuse. I think that women can also be very aggressive. They can beat a man's behind. There are some strong women out there that know how to handle a man. I got a sister that will box a man if I don't have to worry about, oh, he hit me. I don't have to worry. I got cousins that are like that. But when it comes down to the law end of it, I think that the man do get the shorter end of the stick. It's just always that
Metro PCS.
Exactly. The man is more the aggressor. He's the big bad wolf, and he's likely to go to jail. I don't think that there's really, some cases women are found guilty, but chances are it'll be the man that'll be at fault in a domestic dispute. So I think now the best way to as for the man, I think the best thing to do is record it, to save your butt from going to jail. If you got to go to court, record it, do on social media. This is what I'm dealing with. And she's playing the victim when the cops get here. She started it. She hit on me. Yes, I might have shoved her, but she scratched me. Why am I going to jail for that? So just ways to protect yourself now.
You're right. And I definitely keep your hands to yourself. Jay?
Keep your hands to yourself.
Jay?
First of all,
what's your stance?
Whatever that man stuff is. Come on, man stuff. Hey. So anyway, DJ said man stuff. DJ, you know what? You is my friend because you know what? You country like me. First of all, no one should be putting their hands on anyone.
Right.
First of all, you should be adult enough that if someone has to touch someone, then they need to leave.
Away,
And
right.
if you're a woman, and if you put your hands on someone, you need to go to jail. If you're a man, and if you're putting your hands on someone, you need to go to jail. And we always think that abuse can be physical, but abuse can be mental as well as verbal.
Good point, Faith.
And so people need to realize that abuse can be. I know a lot of women that are verbally abusive and mentally abusive. So we can't think that men are always the aggressor. I just think that this is where the police should step back in some cases, and this is why I believe that some officers should have taken some not anger management, but counseling and to be able to logically ask some questions to really kind of piece together what's really happened here. I think that's critical. And so I don't think it's right. I think men get the short end of the stick, so to speak, because they're men, they are more aggressive, or they can be a little stronger. But again, women can also say, well, he hit me. You got to be very careful, because there are some women who have gone through abuse. And that's why I think doing a thorough investigation and a thorough interview is warranted. I think those things are very important.
Definitely growing up around abuse, I've seen it on both ends. Conscious, you're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
He was serious, honey.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yes.
You was going down. I hope you can retain them thoughts.
First of all, if you put your hands on me, no matter man or woman, I'm whipping your ass, period. I do not discriminate against ass whippings. Children, the elderly, the handicapped, Special Olympics, anybody can get it. Secondly, due to the evidence, it looked like Tamar definitely got mollywopped in the SUV. But according to Tamar's account, David was in a rage and a fit, driving at 100 miles an hour, and that's when she began to try to, I guess, dismantle the situation. But look, I would have started whipping your behind too if we're in a vehicle and you're in danger of my life. I mean, we already probably going to die anyway, so you might as well get judged with a black eye around and on your face if we're going into the afterlife.
Right.
Now, of course, men's domestic violence disputes don't get taken as seriously, and this is one of the unfortunate cons to patriarchy, because patriarchy totally abandons men when it comes to emotional abuse and physical abuse. So of course we don't take violence upon men by women seriously, and we don't take emotional trauma done to men by women seriously, because men are held up as some robotic Hercules figure within society. So it's just an ugly thing. I feel like this gives men an opportunity, though, because I have a friend who also was married to a woman, a white woman, might I add, and she was beating the living hell out of him throughout their relationship, and he suffered a lot of, psychological whatever due to that. And he doesn't speak often about his abuse either. So I just feel like this gives men an opportunity to realize, look, these stereotypes and generalities about our community, they don't serve us completely. Men need to be real about the fact that they have hearts, they have emotions, they can be heartbroken, they are in agony, that they are spiritual, that they are emotionally unwell. They need to be honest as well about the experience of abuse. But that male ego that's reinforced by the community doesn't really allow men to be comfortable, because they see it as I'm weak rather than true victimhood. And there is a genuine category for people who are victimized by other people. So it's enough.
Okay.
Okay, Metro PCS. Oh my God.
Lord.
Is that a cricket phone? Ooh, Lord.
We took a little break for a minute. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you guys.
That's because you have reached your 2 minutes.
Conscious.
Hello?
But excuse me, but I agree with Conscious TV though, and I think Tamar wasn't she having mental issues and wasn't she being treated for those? And I think that she really needs to stay in and get treated all the way. Okay, not part of the way, but all. Because I know she had some mental issues.
King Fang?
Oh, I'm so glad that it's my turn because y'all is not gonna sit up here and do Tamar like that. Ain't nothing wrong with Tamar, and y'all is not gonna sit up here and tell me that Tamar was beating up David Adafeso. Okay, I am not subscribed, and I do not believe. Okay, first and foremost, okay, somebody had already beat David before Tamar got to him. Let's just be honest, okay? Let's just be honest. David, okay, he looked like he done been through the fire, the river, and the wall, okay? Stop playing. David is one of the ugliest black men that Tamar could have gotten.
Does that mean that he's abusive?
Not only that, but Miss Evelyn was violent. Miss Evelyn was gonna beat them girls. Their own mama was a fighter. Miss Evelyn was. I was looking at Miss Evelyn. Look at
I know that Tamar is not beating David because of the way that David talks to Tamar. The way that he talked to her is not no man that is fearful of his woman. He's not fearful of her at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, she not whooping on him. He was on TV telling her that she better not allow her baby daddy back in the house. Like, who you at my house? Like, who you talking to?
Well, maybe it's a Tamar issue, and maybe
he would not be talking to her like that.
Well, maybe she needs to choose the right person. Maybe she's attracted to that, and maybe she needs to look within her.
I think it was sort of self-defense. It was a one-time thing, and he's out there. He's trying to do some damage control, protective image. His image. He already got her thinking she's crazy. We all know Tamar is not crazy. Okay, she's very sane. She's very witty. Okay,
we all know that.
Girls. Like, stop playing. So he got her thinking she crazy, and
just
he was getting ready to take her back to this mental facility, and she didn't want to go. So they
pull
got
the organ out.
She realized on that ride that he wasn't for her because she was asking him questions. You know, she had just some talking with her people and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, this, you know what I'm saying? Let me out the car." And then things went left. So if she had to hit him to get out the car, protect herself, whatever she had to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that she was beating him like that and that he needed a restraining order. I think that that's blown way out of proportion.
You have such a vivid imagination. I'm telling you.
I think that Tamar is an adult that she was a spoiled brat that became an adult with money. So she has this entitled type of mindset as well. I think that there's some truth to, I think she may throw temper tantrums and she may get physical. We've seen how she interacts with her sister, how she's have that diva type attitude and the baby of the family. A lot of babies in Black families, a lot of babies of the family get spoiled and they carry that mindset with them until adulthood. So they think everyone's going to baby them when they become adults because I'm Tamar, I'm cute. You're supposed to let me have my way. What were you going to add, Conscious?
No, I was just going to add to that. I mean, Tamar, first of all, anybody who can get buck with Iyanla is sent from hell, okay? We saw Tamar Braxton and her interaction with Iyanla on Fix My Life. And I'm just like, really? You really tried the voodoo priestess like that, honey? And then we turn around, and I think when Tamar Braxton was on Big Brother, when she got uppercutted out of the house across the continent of the Pacific Ocean by that
girl that plays sports. I remember. Yes.
And that woman beat her so bad that they didn't even air an ass whipping. So I'm just like, Tamar definitely is a gaslighter because she's a narc herself, and she definitely gets bucked. But I do think that the situation with her and David, I think that was a shared drama. I think that they both gaslighted, antagonized each other. It was a bad moment for the both of them, and the issues hit the fan. So I don't necessarily see her as a total aggressor in that situation. But hey, Tamar definitely has a problematic personality because she's extra.
Keep your hands to yourself. It's one thing if he, and this is another thing, it's one thing if he smacks you, but if you smack him and he reacts, keep your hands to yourself. If you can't talk this out, and if you have to put your hands on someone, then you need to go ahead and remove yourself from that situation, because no civil, intelligent person with emotional intelligence should be fighting people.
Right, because we're not apes. Animals act to stimuli. We can judge when a situation, we can make emotions. And I think, though I was in a relationship, I saw myself going to the point of becoming physical because this person had a problem with substance abuse. And I remember one day that I was sleeping, he came in, I picked up a bottle of cologne and I held it at his head and shattered the glass. And I broke up with him the next day. Because I was
remember
like,
that, DJ? You remember that?
We had that conversation. Yeah.
His name is
Stop.
But I had because I grew up around people that were in abusive relationships. Some were more emotional, others were physical. And I saw myself seeing this is something that I was accustomed to seeing at a certain level. So my reaction was going to what I grew up seeing part of my life. I had to reel myself in and say, I'm not going to be that person. So I'd rather leave you than me end up in jail and you end up, somewhere else. But I think you shouldn't say, and there is types of abuse that people endure. Yes, Conscious?
I was just going to ask, so do you think that since domestic abuse is both psychological and it's physical, do you think that both perpetuates should be held equally accountable? Because I'm thinking about the situation that happened like a month and a half ago where there was this Black woman. She had ran over her husband and then she started to beat his lifeless body with the bumper off of the car as he was laying in a puddle of blood. And it was because she had found out that he was being unfaithful. Now, people can look at what she did and harp on, obviously, physically, she perpetuated violence against him. But if we're also recognizing abuse as psychological, is it equal on both ends? Like, this woman is married.
Psychological won't have to be prison.
But the thing is, if your husband or wife kept you in bed and she snaps and shoots you, then in some cases, depending on where, it may have been that she couldn't take it. That's what happened. So some courts recognize that. And that's why you have to be so careful. In your own beautiful state of South Carolina, baby, they still don't play that sleeping around. Okay, they still don't play that game. So if you commit adultery, you could find yourself in court.
North Carolina, you've asked Fantasia.
Oh Lord.
So along those lines, we're going to go into the next question, which is abuse, child abuse. We grew up hearing about grandmother would whoop, how grandmother would make you pick your switches. A lot of this stuff people got accustomed to. What are your thoughts on parents disciplining their children and broadcasting it on social media? What do you guys think about that? Do you believe in spanking children or using other forms of discipline? DJ?
Well, okay, so there's two questions then. So the first thing I'm going to address is I'm not for or against spanking your child. I mean, if your child needs their butt whoop, they need their butt whoop, but don't go too far with it. Teachers, they have the right to investigate when kids are coming to school abused because you took it too far. There's other ways to discipline your child. Nowadays, everybody loves Fortnite. They love PlayStations. All the kids got cell phones. See, we didn't have that growing up. I think if you take that away, that's enough punishment for a child, right there. But as far as spanking, though, I don't think you have to get too extreme with it. And as far as, what did you say, advertising on the internet?
Social media.
Well, people on social media, showing thanking their children or disciplining
Hey,
their
Suki.
kids.
Gotcha. I think that is the perfect recipe to have your kids taken away from you from CPS. People do some of the dumbest things on the internet. Like that was a little thing that they were doing last year. I think it was in Louisiana, and I believe it was a couple of cases in Texas where they were leaking the Bluebell ice cream on social media. I don't know if y'all remember seeing that, but that
Yeah.
yeah, and they were actually prosecuted for that. They had to throw all the ice cream out, and they were losing money. People do foolish things to get attention, and it's really foolish when you want to put your child in, because it just tells people that you have a single digit IQ and you don't need to be a parent. That's why I say it's a perfect recipe for CPS to come in.
All right,
That
single
part.
digit IQ.
Right, that's single digit IQ.
Digit IQ.
Come on, single digit IQ. Come
Single
on,
digit. Just
Con-
single digit.
oh, you conscious TV?
First of all, if you send me outside to get a switch, I'm bringing it in to whip your ass, not for you to whip mine. That's for one. Second of all, no, I do not believe in spankings as much as the prior generation wants to act like a butt cutting did them some justice growing up. A lot of them turned out to be pedophiles, rapists, done been to prison. So an ass whipping worked where in your life? Thirdly, there's a thin line between discipline and humiliation. Discipline is for the child, and it always involves the lesson in wisdom and awareness. Okay, humiliation is from the parent's ego, and it only produces shame. And shame gives birth to hatred, rage, and deep-rooted resentment. There was an incident that took place. I don't know if it was this year or last year. But there was a Black mom who had got frustrated with her young daughter not performing hygienically the way that she should. So the mom turned on Facebook Live and was ripping the girl apart, talking about her vagina smells and this, that, and the third. I think the girl was like literally screaming. And I mean, she was just like going in, and she was just like, if you want to be dirty and you want to be this, that, and the third, then, we gonna let the world see. And I'm just like,
I saw that.
That was just a whole hot mess. So no, I don't believe in all of that. That's actual abuse, okay? Because once again, discipline involves the lesson that leads to self-awareness and wisdom, okay? And I'll add this last part, just adding to the discipline, other alternative ways is just raise your children to be selfless communal individuals. I mean, just raise them to be of service to others. Raise them with good morals and values. Don't just tell them this stuff. Don't just take them to church so they can hear it. Put them in programs that promote selflessness, that promote community organizing. Actually put them on the front lines and being community builders. These things really do help with character development and emotional wellness.
Okay. Jay.
I think a lot of people live according to their cultural upbringings and how they were raised. And when you don't want to explore farther, then you stay in that. I was spanked, and we went through that, and my brothers and sisters are perfectly fine. And maybe that was for that generation because that's what they knew. And parents, it doesn't come with a handbook, but I do think that physical discipline is the last thing. You should talk to the child and let them know this was wrong and this is why this was wrong. You have to talk to the child. It really bothered me that a lot of our parents weren't good communicators. It was whoop your behind now, ask questions later, because they didn't know how to communicate because their parents didn't communicate to them. And so had we had an open line of communication, we may have not had a problem. It's easy to say you can tell me anything, but if you get your behind whipped, you may be a little reluctant to say certain things. So I think at this particular point, we really need to talk to our kids and communicate, take those games away, have some type of punishment. Physical discipline should be the last resort. And I mean the ultimate last resort. And it shouldn't even be a belt and all that. It should be a pop on your hand or something to let you know that, hey, this is not something to do. But I think when you know better, you do better. I have a sister. She raised 3 girls, never had to spank them or did anything. And all 3 of those girls are college grad. They're living great lives and doing well. My family gave her flack about it, but she had to do what was right for her kids. And obviously she knew what was right for her kids because they came out. They're productive citizens now.
Okay. King Payne.
Okay, on period. Furiana to the Furie. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Okay. What I do know is that my kids, okay, it's gonna be good. Okay, on period. They're gonna be in line, and Conscious is absolutely right. There's a thin line. There's a very thin line between discipline and humiliation. Okay. I do not agree with anybody trying to humiliate their children, put them on YouTube, and that's personal. You know what I'm saying? And and like Brother Jay said, it should be a last resort, and it should be you should only use it as a teaching, like as a teaching tool. Like, oh, you're not listening to my instructions, so let me show you what happens when you don't listen to my instructions. Piriana to the Pirier. But yeah, I believe that you can't tell nobody how to raise their kids. You know what I'm saying? And I think that people would just be there's a lot of Karens in the world. Okay, a lot of Jims, and you know what? We even got some Malcolms and some Marys. Okay, on period. Mind your own. And you'll live longer, you last longer, okay? Because anybody,
That's right.
I got no kids, but anybody tell me something about mine, you liable to be next in line for a whooping.
Okay. Official King Payne, you gonna have what kind of kids? Official King Payne.
I'm gonna have 10 girls and a boy.
And they're gonna be good kids. They're gonna be okay kids because they're gonna be in line.
They're gonna be in line, lined up, okay, on period. They're gonna know because one get in trouble, they all get in trouble. They gonna be good kids. They gonna be hitting each other. They gonna be like, I ain't gonna stop. Gonna stop playing because you mess up, we all messed up. Period. Everybody getting whooped today.
Okay. just.
Y'all remember how it used to be? Don't act like y'all ain't got no whoopings. Period. Them whoopings worked. I don't care what nobody say. Them
was wrong, so I got asked.
Don't laugh too much because you'll get one too.
So you get whooping, but they ain't for discipline. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, my grandma said you ain't never too old to get no whooping. Okay, on period.
Yeah, mom too.
Stallion.
Yeah, discipline definitely. I'm for it, but there are levels to it. It should be used as a last result. I am a prime example of whippings and getting my games taken away and all kinds of craziness. And it's worked out well. But I know some people are different. And so I don't, and that kind of posting it on Facebook and stuff like that. There was a moment when I was in elementary school and this kid was like class clown, just totally, but always funny, but still just disrupting the class and everything. So the teacher called his mother. She came right up to class and she whipped him in front of everybody. And they, and it was like, she was like, no, you want to be a class clown? You want to be funny? Pop, pop, pop. And she just popped him. I mean, I still know his name to this day because I was like, that was crazy. Like, that's something my mama would do. That's something my mother would do. But yeah, like even my mother was like that. She would do that to all of us. She would just pop up. She would just pop up in school. She wouldn't tell us, hey, I'm coming by to check on you. She just pop up and she watch you from afar and get home and be like, oh, so you want to, you think you're funny or you want to. So I think there's a level of making sure that your children are in order and presenting themselves well outside of your home, because that is a reflection of you. But yeah, at times it can go a bit too far. But like I said, I think a lot of times, especially with the social media, on some aspects, we have to realize, though, that a lot of these young people are popping and locking dropping it low all on TV, for their friends. So that's why their parents drag they behind in front of the same camera that they be popping and locking, and like, oh, you want to pop and lock it, but you smell like this. So it's a form of, kind of, yeah, it may be harsh, yeah, it may be a little bit over the top, but at the same time, when these parents are at work or, trying to, I guess, provide a living for their child, somebody is telling them, hey, Boomquisha and whomever is over here popping and locking, and they're watching this. So yeah, when they get a chance to kind of, oh, this is what you want to do when I'm not here, I could see it kind of being a situation where
you could even get away with that captivating when my mom was gone because the community had the right to whip your tail too.
Right. I mean, that part is true, but we don't have that anymore.
You talk back to Miss Minnie if you want to. I'm gonna beat you. Miss Minnie, I know you beat him, didn't you? I know you told him up. I'm saying that now. And the teacher had the right to, because baby, you couldn't get away with nothing in that community.
Yeah, we could definitely attest to the trouble we got into from a relative telling on us. So I can just but we don't have that anymore. A lot of people just mind their business and they don't go and tell and say, well, they just, they mind their business. And that village raising a child is no longer, because that would happen. I would get into it with somebody else and they would instantly, as soon as they see my mother walking up the street, hey, and it'd be like, oh, yeah, come in here. And like, what I do? Like, oh, yeah, that. So,
yeah.
Miss Pee Wee, we had a Miss Pee Wee too. Miss Minnie, yes, ma'am. Miss Minnie was not playing. All right.
Yeah, Meek. I'm sorry. You were finishing up, Captivating.
Oh no, I'm fine. That's it. I was finished.
Yeah, Meek.
See, I believe in breaking generational curses. I believe that is one of the biggest ones. Is like Black parents like beating the crap out of their kids. It does not work for everybody. Just like every relationship blueprint does not work for every relationship. Do not beat every kid you have. It doesn't work for every kid. Some kids will be like, okay, it made me stronger. Some people be like, all right, I'm scarred for life. Like, what do I do now? Like, I need therapy forever. Like, it doesn't work for everyone. I'm sorry. And I don't mean like coddle your kid, put him in a corner, give him therapy. No. Don't excessively beat their ass and thinking, oh, well, they're going to get it eventually. I'm going to keep beating them until they fucking get it. Sometimes the kid needs to be loved properly. They won't be acting up in school and class if you're loving them properly. They will be looking for attention from their classmates and their teachers. I'm just saying that. That's all.
All right, Yami. You want to talk about that?
I think that the beating and spanking kids like that with our elders, it was a carryover from slavery days.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that it's more kind of people that are lower on the economic ladder tend to resort to physical spanking more so. I've observed, I work with people, doctors, I've been around, they don't discipline kids the same way as someone from the hood. They may be so stressed out about their lives that they just go upside their kids' head because they're pissed off that they got rolled up at work that day. So I think that resort to spanking all the time, you raise children that become adults that are abusive, and it teaches you, I'm a person bigger and stronger, can use that to make someone else listen to what men that were abused are sometimes abusers of their wives, their kids. My great grandmother was so abusive. I don't have any loving memories that didn't make me love her. When people started talking about her, she didn't show love. She resorted to spanking. You could drop a glass. I remember dropping like a mayonnaise jar that they had. It wasn't like a family heirloom. This is a mayonnaise jar that you were drinking out of. So I dropped it. I got a spanking. Keep in mind, I wasn't running through the house playing. It slipped out my hand, and that warranted getting a spanking.
Was it Hellman's?
It was empty. It could have been some. It could have been Astroglide for all hell. But I think that her way of loving, it was so weird. She resorted to physical. It wasn't hugs and the grandmother that you would think, it was just more, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat you. I dated someone and I snapped on him. It was like something that failed, and he's like, "Oh, you broke that," and I was like, "What the hell? We got this from damn Walmart. What the hell are you talking about?" So I had to catch myself, because I think people make mistakes didn't warrant you getting your ass beat, and I think it's something that's more so a poor person's mindset to resort to spanking all the time, because they're frustrated. You may have a woman and a man in the ghetto that's pissed off that they're raising a lot of kids and they're beating the hell out of these kids. Everything they do, they get a spanking. A lot of my spankings I got may have been needed. I think because I did do some stuff in school. I was a class clown and I would get my ass whooped because of that. But I don't think, because kids learn differently. It was like, if I was making a bad grade, it was just how I was taught. It was like, some people excel in mathematics. I always excelled in writing, more psychology. Everyone don't learn. We don't learn at the same rate. And some people are not going to be able to do trigonometry like the next person, but I can write much better than you. And I know more so how to, the liberal arts and all of that. But I think it's definitely a care. And spanking your children on social media, that right there, you should be in jail for that. I think you should be in jail, like what happened with the girl. Her father disciplining her recently, and the rapper came and they got the girl from the family. She's not living with her family anymore because you were showing out and letting everybody know that you were whooping her ass because she was being too fast. Now, in my family, I think the whoopings with me, it had a different effect. Hell, it made me have a slight leaning toward S&M now. But I think that
Lord Jesus, oh Jesus, come on,
only leather. But I don't think whooping. I would spank my children. I would pop them on the butt if they did something, but I don't think stitching cords and leaving bruises and whelps on children, that's not acceptable.
It's extreme. Stephen J, no, I don't have any kids. Yeah.
Oh no, that's not a.
We're gonna adopt together. Now, who wants to ask? Oh, what are you saying?
Wait, I want to say something. Oh, can I go?
Oh, yes.
Oh, the reason why I'm so against it is because I don't know. Tony, Christian remembers, but
I can't hear
both of my parents were correction officers, so them bringing that mentality home, being CEOs, working at Rikers Island, one of the biggest jails in New York, like that was like a big mentality to bring home, like. So we get in trouble for anything, any little tiny little thing. We would be like, "Oh, you're in trouble," and I think that's because of their job they brought home. You know what I mean? Like, I think it also belongs like also your parents' job. What kind of job do they have? Like, what kind of mentality they're bringing home? Like that leftover, like stress to bring home into the house. Like my stepfather, like I said, was a correction officer, and so was my mom. Like both of them having the same aggressive job. That's a lot. You know what I mean?
Okay, what's going on? Everybody leaving? My goodness.
Okay, now what were you saying, Yami?
Oh, okay. No, I was saying both of my parents both had really like aggressive jobs. They were both correction officers at a jail. So bringing that mentality home was kind of intimidating. You want to like not bring a mayonnaise jar or anything else because you were afraid of getting a spanking for little tiny things.
Mm-hmm.
So walking on eggshells and stuff.
Yeah, I think it was, and Black people are quick to be like, but that's how grandma used to do, but grandma was abusive. That was abuse. Whooping children with stitching cords is abuse. It's
right.
no way.
Give them plastic cups. Why y'all you have these children with all this glass? Give them plastic cups. Jesus, give them plastic cups.
Well, you should be whooping yourself for giving them a glass.
Give them plastic. They're gonna drop it. You know that glass get a little slippery.
Well, I think he got the beating because he's probably supposed to be sitting down with that jar and drinking, and he was standing up and he slipped out of his hand and dropped it. So I think that's usually where that comes from, with that whole Southern mentality of sit down and drink something before you spill it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but Yami, I think your point is really valid, you know. And I think people be bringing their jobs home to their kids, and this is why I believe in the reflection, action, reflection. Okay, so you've had this rough day. You need to talk to somebody about that before you go home. Because if not, you're going to bring that to your family. I think a lot of these jobs, that's another thing. Not only correctional officers, but people who don't make it to their kids' programs because their jobs are so important. And I did this to provide. Well, the kid doesn't see it that way. The kid was like, I want you to be here. And then this is why you have a whole lot of men doing other things because they always want to please, or it can really get deep.
Right.
When you do that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't even though I know what my mom and dad did, and it was really last resort, but I would make sure I communicated with my child if you know there was something going on. The communication.
Yeah. Do you think the social economics, their place as far as their income and where they're at socioeconomically, do you think that plays a part in the discipline?
I think education plays a part.
Yeah,
I knew some poor moms who had their stuff together. I knew poor moms who pushed their kids, but they didn't play with that beating. I think it's the education aspect of it. I think the social economic play has to, but then on the flip side, you're not going to curse me out and slam my door either, because I've seen some wealthy children say, "Mom, I hate you." No, hell no, that would not happen.
You couldn't even think it in my house. Hey, my mother knew you was thinking it and popped
That's
you.
probably why a lot of women stay in abusive relationships, or why people stay in abusive relationships, because they was beat when they were a kid. So they associate being beat with love. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think those parents that don't beat their kids, I think that those kids grow up, and when they get in those type of relationships, they immediately leave because the connection's not there and abuse. So, you know, you got to think about that. What do you want to do?
Yeah,
What are you
but
really
I mean, even knowing the difference, even with getting disciplined and knowing the difference and having that conversation, like the reason why I hit you or the reason why you was punished is because of XYZ. Even while they're doing it, it's still important, because my mom would tell you why she beating you as she did it, and then be like, well, you know, and then afterwards come in the door. Right. And then come in the door like, you want something to eat? Like as an apology. That's not an apology.
I can't imagine your mom beating you. I love your mom. I can't imagine her beating anybody.
But I do think that closes the door for children to really talk to their parents about anything, because then there's a part of them that say, well, you know, I might get slapped out because of this. And I just think that I think it's a delicate line. Parenting doesn't come with books, but I think that we have to be very creative in how we raise these kids, because I know a lot of parents say, well, if I don't beat you, the police officer gonna beat you. I've heard that a lot too. And so, yeah.
But even though I remember grandma had like a little change thing, which had her coins and stuff. So I'm thinking,
what's going on with Conscious? Is he unconscious?
Baby, I went in there and got
PCS.
a roll of dimes.
Metro
Look,
PCS.
I went and got.
Oh Lord.
What's going on? Is Rebel freezing?
Oh Lord.
I went and got a roll of dimes out of my grandmother's stash.
Oh, okay, there you go. We heard you.
Am I freezing?
You froze, but then you hear you talking.
Oh, you freezing, Rebel. Is that phone hot?
Am I freezing?
Phone get hot.
But the phone isn't. But I think, can you hear me? Is my voice clear?
But you freezing. Okay, you may be hot, but you freezing.
Okay, well, just think of me as an avatar right now, honey.
Okay.
I think that my grandmother, I took the dimes out of her stash, and she missed them, and I didn't think she did. When she found out, she washed clothes, and she found that little dime. I was in the 3rd grade, and she told me, "You took this from Mama. You're not gonna keep living in this house." And she said, "You can't be doing that. Mama don't want you to be in jail." And I said, I'm sorry, mama. And I went and hugged her. And she said, come here, mama love you. And I was like, okay, I got over it. She was like, but you still gonna get your ass whooped for stealing those coins.
Right. That's not going without. Right. It's not
I
going
was
without.
like, I'm thinking I got over. Okay,
Mm-mm.
maybe she's gonna talk to me this time. But yeah. Mm-mm.
No.
But yes,
Unconscious
okay,
is
conscious
coming
is
back.
back.
Is this unconscious TV? Lord, come on, unconscious.
Okay, so this takes us to the next question, which is myth in the Black community. Do you think there's a stigma regarding the Black community seeking professional help through therapy, counseling? How can we begin to normalize Black people going to therapy and being diagnosed with disorders?
Lord
I'll
Jesus.
start with Jay.
Exactly what Captain Baden Christian said, Lord Jesus. And a lot of these mental health issues stem from church.
I blame the church.
Some people talk about some demons. No, that ain't a demon. That's a chemical imbalance, boo. You need to take your medicine. You know,
Drink
I
to
think
that.
a lot of stuff comes from there. And then we think that you're weak or and you know, I was just talking to a counselor that deals with people with schizophrenia, and you never tell somebody who has cancer you're cancer. They have cancer, but you never say you're cancer. So mental illness is that mental illness, and I think the quicker you get diagnosed and get a prognosis, the better you will be. There are people who are living with mental illness and they are functioning well, but this is why I believe a lot of Black men and women are in jail now. Most of them have mental illnesses that have not been diagnosed, and I think it is critical that people get checked. You are not cancer. You may have it, but you're not cancer. You may have schizophrenia or bipolar, but that you are not that. That's something you have. And until we get to that point where we can really deal with that, then our people will continue to not go to counseling and get the help that they need.
Definitely outside, you know, don't go just to your pastor or your best friend. Get professional help. Captivating.
Yeah. Like Jay Wilson said, I blame the church. The pastor is not a professional psychiatrist or psychologist just because he may have taken a class in community college to be able to diagnose a person and help a person through an actual illness or situation. And, you know, we get so caught up in, oh, just tell it to Jesus, tell it to Jesus. Jesus put these other people on earth too to help you through your situations. So you need to utilize them as well. I mean, God love her. I love my mama, but she was the same way. It was like, Ma, just go to counseling. No, I'm just gonna pray about it and take it to the pastor, take it to Bishop. Like, honey, Bishop cannot help you. He can, you know, kind of console you through it the same way your children can, the same way your friends can, the same way your husband can. But you need to really sit down and talk to someone who is not connected to you, who is a trained professional, and actually get, you know, what you need from that session. And I think the church does the community a disservice without informing the people, like, hey, you know, we need to have sessions where in which an actual counselor does come into the church, if that's the case, and have moments where they have private sessions with a lot of the members. But no, we just quick to, oh, take it to Jesus, oh, go into your closet, and these people sit here and suffer in silence. And we try to figure out, well, why Uncle Timmy in the back room? Because Uncle Timmy is cuckoo, but nobody wanted to take Uncle Timmy to where he needed to be to get the help he needed. Trying to pray his cuckoo away. It's ridiculous. Too much.
Unconscious.
Okay.
Welcome.
Conscious.
He was fighting the spiritual realm.
He was doing spiritual warfare with that camera, honey. He was doing spiritual warfare.
Hi.
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 Is it my turn?
It is. I
We
think.
want to catch you before you left.
Yes.
Right.
Like God rapturing me up fast and in a hurry, honey.
It's that red hair, child. I can't.
So, what's the question?
Mental health in the Black community. Do you think there's a stigma associated with seeking mental help? In the Black, seeking going to a therapist of some sort.
Yeah. So about that. So of course I blame the handy dandy religion for all the stigmas on, mental health, because we got to understand religion is taught to us to be inclusive of the spiritual and the mental and the emotional. So essentially the church can cure it all. It's the attitude of religion. So Black people have used religion to deal with the trauma of slavery, to deal with the trauma of post-slavery, to deal with the trauma of sexual abuse done to Black male and female slaves. So the church still is in a very profound habit of utilizing the church and religion as kind of a cure for all. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Chris Rock's stand-up comedy when he was saying that when he was growing up, a Robitussin was the cure for it all. You got a cold, it was Robitussin.
Put some
If you got cancer, it was Robitussin. If you broke your arm, put some Robitussin on it. Robitussin and religion and the church is a lot like that, where you have that issue. Now, another big thing that the Black community, because we're such a religious community of people, we also take mental health very personal in terms of the parents feel like it's their fault. So you have a lot of Black parents who are in denial about their child suffering from mental health because they feel like it's a reflection of something that they've done. They've went wrong somewhere. So you have a lot of Black people who don't push for therapy and don't push for mental health because they don't want to feel in any kind of way responsible for that issue. But mental health can be perpetuated by just practicing it. The way that I deal with it as a spiritual person is I look at depression, anxiety, all of that.
Look, somebody drinking Kool-Aid.
Somebody always doing the dissertation. Somebody always doing
Yeah, Jonathan Ford. We're not blaming the church for everything, but a lot of these pastors need to take accountability. They're not qualified to counsel people, and they don't have licensure. It'll be good if they could refer people, but the church does play a major role, and parents usually get their cues from religion. I'm sorry, Conscious.
Okay, Jonathan Ford. I'm blaming the church for everything. Okay, just to be clear. And mental health and spiritual are two different realms, really, in truth. You get therapy with the hardware. That's your brain. It's the chemical imbalance. It's the way that all that stuff scientifically works all up and through here. You're spiritual, okay? It's for you to help to navigate those things, but they don't remedy those things. So there's things that the spiritual can do for you, that psychology, and there are things that a therapist can do for you that a spiritual cannot. We have issues that are relative to the earth, and we have issues that are relative to the heavens. These are two totally different spaces. They're governed by two totally different laws, just like the spiritual laws of the cosmos versus our laws of gravity, our laws of physics, earth-based laws. So there's just a misunderstanding as far as I'm concerned. But just be honest, if you see people suffering and they've been in church their whole life and they still ain't found them a good bra to lift them low-hanging titties up, they still ain't found no way, okay, to produce a little piece of pie and some decent transportation to get back and forth, and they've been riding Jesus' chariot their whole life, and you see people stuck, okay, maybe it just might be in fact you need a little bit more than what's being provided to them. So just be a little open-minded.
Okay.
All right, come on.
Oh, DJ.
Low hanging titties up here for.
Yes, I agree with all of you guys. I do blame the church. Praying, I'm a spiritual person. I pray, I worship God, I do. But it comes to a point you cannot continue to use the church as a band-aid for situations all the time. Mental illness is a very serious aspect of life that people have to deal with. The church is not there when people are getting shot by law enforcement because they don't know that this person have mental issues. There was a lady about 3 months ago in Baytown, Texas, who was shot by a police officer that had mental issues. They didn't know it. And about a month ago, right here in Houston, it was a Hispanic guy that was shot 21 times by a police officer, and they're investigating that he had mental issues. What was the church? You can always run to the church. You can't put a band-aid on that. So I do believe that the church do play a part in that. They are to blame. You have to deal with the issues in reality of what's going on. How can we address it? What can we do? How can we fix this? Because mental illness is a real thing. What's up, Conscious?
And it's an illness, just like
it's an illness.
Like anything else. And like I said, cancer is not the person. The person has cancer.
Right.
We just need to get out of this.
What were you going to add to that, Yami?
To Jonathan's point, I think it's, first of all, men get on my nerve and religious people get on my nerve the worst because, for one, I think it's so funny that when the church comes under critique, there's so many super favor holes who want to always be like, oh, y'all are being too critical of the church. But yet, you got to realize, I'm holding accountable the institutions that wanted to hold themselves up as the end all of the end all. And if you want to represent that, then I'm going to hold you to the fire accordingly. Okay. The church wants to, that is the way, that is the truth, and that no person may come to anything else other than through Jesus Christ. Perfectly fine proclamation also, but also realize the level of accountability you get to hold, because that same Bible says to whom much is given, much is required. Okay? So unfortunately, the church has played a big role. Religion has shaped our lives as Black people literally to the same extent that racism has. The evolution of colorism, anti-Blackness, the patriarchy, all of those things developed out of race, which also weaponized and utilized religion. These were siblings in their efforts to control and to oppress people. So we always have to go back to the head. My mama always said the apple don't fall far from the tree. We always got to go back.
Good point, Lynn T. Good point, Lynn.
Religion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yamik, what's your stance on that?
I'm going to piggyback on Jay Wilson and say that I think it's very important, first before anything else, that we have to learn how to not call someone, oh, you're bipolar, or you're say you're living with bipolar disorder, say you're living with autism, say you're living with anxiety, before you just throw a label on somebody, because we are not these labels. We're just living through these moments in our lives that we can get over, and it's not fair to be like, oh, you're this and you're that, because a month from now I can be something else, something positive. So don't say I'm bipolar or I'm depressed, because people can get through those moments and come out on the other side. So let's give someone some respect, understanding, and sympathy a little bit.
Yeah, and Jonathan Ford, I know what the church is. I have a very clear understanding. You are the church individually, and you are the church collectively. We're staying in a whole what's going on, and if you're going to have that role of leadership, then you have to direct people to the right place. If you don't have that certification or that qualification, then pass it along. We already have a leader right now who's incompetent, and you see where that's led the country. I believe a lot of our churches are led just like this piece of this right here. And when you're not led right and the leader is not looking out for the people and for the interests of the people, this is what happens. So I know perfectly what the church is about.
The shepherd is responsible for the sheep. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And can I just add this part too? I want to add this part as it relates to Jonathan. I would be perfectly fine with the church not having anything to do with therapy if it decided to step its Christ up and could actually raise the dead, heal the sick, cure the blind, and cure the deaf, like it said that y'all supposed to. But you would think that the lack of y'all ability to do those things and to provide those things to those who follow Christ would at least allow y'all to be comfortable substituting what y'all can't do with what the medical community maybe can, okay? See, in real Christendom, y'all supposed to have power, not your evangelism, not your tambourine banging, not your falling out, rolling around, speaking in tongues, all that extraness. I want to know, where is the power? And since you don't got none, okay, it's probably in the best interest of your congregations to be aligned with the medical community in terms of helping some of these people deal with issues that ain't got nothing to do with the supernatural. It got to do with me being touched by my daddy at 2, and me being abandoned by my mammy at 13, and being raised by my grandma who was in an abusive behind relationship to my grandpapa, okay? All these things, once again, are relative to the earth. But I just want religion to live up to its proclamations. It doesn't. I don't know why Christians can't be honest about that.
And also to piggyback on Conscious TV, Paul was the most prolific apostle. And the reason why is because he had education. Luke could write. Luke was a doctor. And those men were powerful. The other disciples, for the most part, illiterate. And they did great things, but they were limited. So all I'm saying is get an education, and learn. All right. Thank you.
King Pang.
Oh, is it my time?
Yeah.
Don't fight.
Okay. It was a very lengthy discussion. Okay.
So what we need to stop doing, we need to stop making like the church is a band-aid, okay? And what we're not going to do is make like the church is a thorn in your side, okay? The church is whatever you make it, okay? Like I've said a number of times on this panel, that people go to church for the wrong reasons, okay? Going to church ain't gonna cover up none of your faults, okay? And just because there's a leader of the church don't mean that you're not responsible for your own actions. Somebody said, oh, the pastor's supposed to be like the leader of the sheep and stuff like that. No, you are responsible for your own soul, okay? Yes, they are. They provide guidance, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to formulate your own relationship. Now, speaking on mental illness, okay, there is a big stigma within the Black community on mental illness, and I think it's because we already have so much against us. There's already so much that we got going on. The government, police brutality, white privilege, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, I always used to hear when it came to mental illness, if you claim it, you own it. Okay? So, and even though I know it's real, I kind of believe that, because what happens in the world is when you are labeled disabled, okay, they kind of count you out and put you in a group that doesn't really benefit your future. They're not teaching anything. I have people in my family with mental illness, and I disagree with the
Mm-hmm. Very true. Oh.
I guess them 2 minutes are up, honey.
Yeah, like they're not giving them homework. They're not teaching them any life skills. They don't get a high school diploma, all because they're mentally disabled. And I feel like just because there are people with mental illness, okay, but if you treat them as such, you're disabling them even more when there's a lot of people with mental illness. They may be slow in one area, but they're advanced in another.
Right.
So I just think that we need to have better programs and better instructors, better teachers and stuff like that for people that suffer from mental illness.
Yeah.
But what y'all not gonna do, y'all not gonna put mental illness on the church. The church ain't created no mental illness.
No, I'm not saying that the church created it.
Did nobody say that?
Nobody said that the church created it.
Nobody said that.
But the church does pacify.
Exactly. They want to put a Band-Aid over it.
Around the circle, said, I blame the church. I blame the church.
Yes, because
they can't.
The church
You can't put a shield over that. They put a shield over it.
King Pat got a contract.
A lot of
You just want to be different. You just want to be different.
A lot of people look at the church as,
that's all.
a lot of I'll wait. A lot of people look at the church as a hospital. So what happens is all these people come to the hospital. So then who's there to help them? Who's there to really fix them?
Yeah.
That's the whole problem. God don't make mistakes. If something wrong, we just haven't figured out a way to utilize the people in the world that suffer from mental illness, because there's something for everybody. That's what I feel.
Okay. Okay. All right.
You're entitled to your stance on that.
Right. And just for clarification,
I have people in my family that suffer from mental illness, and you know, I realized growing up,
I do too.
They have skill sets that I don't possess.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
That would be very beneficial to them had they got the proper instruction coming up.
Well, King Payne, though, this is the thing. Nobody is beating up the church. We're just saying, don't try to handle stuff that you're not qualified to handle.
That's what Leah T said in the chat. She's absolutely right.
That's all. So if you have a wise pastor, and if he want to be all that deep, then let him go to the college and get a certification in counseling. Okay, you can do everything else.
You can
do everything else. You can be a bishop. If you can go through that process to be a bishop, then you can go through that process to be a therapist.
And the mentally ill should be segregated when it comes to education.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, just go ahead and get the help so people you can.
What does that have to do? We're talking about churches not being pastors that are becoming like pastors when they're not licensed to do that. You know, your churches are these pastors. What if this pastor didn't even finish high school?
You're welcome.
Junior high education, but he's telling you something that someone went to school for 10 years learned. You know, I think that we have to be aware, and the churches are not responsible for everything, but sometimes people go to their pastors to be their psychologist, their marriage counselor. A lot of things these pastors tell them, and the pastor, he's not well versed in what he's telling you. He's just telling you what your Mima told you, and your Mima probably barely finished 6th grade.
Look, you can't take people where you ain't been, okay?
Right.
If you don't have it, then you can't give it. And that's all I'm saying. So if you don't have that kind of training,
right. There's people in that position.
This is my bad. You know what? The Holy Ghost is telling me to tell you to see Dr. Lynn over there on 8th Street. And he wants you to lay in the black couch near the window. That's what the Spirit is telling me. Okay? So that's what you got to do sometimes. Okay, Rebel. We're going to
Okay. This is the last question, guys. The last question I wanted to address with this topic was the topic of colorism. Do you guys believe in the one-drop rule? What are your thoughts on biracial people being less black? If you're a lighter complexion, are you less black? What makes one black person be able to tell you that you're less black because you come from a biracial family? Or because I've witnessed that over here in this sector. Sometimes I think people, when they get into beefs with others, they like to make someone else that may not appear as black as you are seem like an outsider. And they'll say that white woman or that white guy, or he's not black enough. What is black enough? What makes if a person's darker than me, are they more black than me? Are they entitled to be able to say certain words and I can't say them? Meek, what's your stance on that?
As far as biracial black people are concerned, I feel like
what makes a person black? What do you think? Do you think someone like Halsey? Do you know who Halsey is, the singer?
No.
Or Meghan Markle?
Yes. Okay. Let me touch on that. So I feel like black people, like if you are biracial and you clearly look black, but you have like no black friends, like either token black in all your circles. To me, that's an issue. To me, I feel like you should have some friends that look like you. All your friends should look like one parent. like your white parent. You know what I mean? You should have friends who like your black parent as well. I feel like a lot of biracial kids struggle with that. They only have, it's very rare that a lot of them have an equal balance of black friends and white friends. Some just have white friends, and they're comfortable being that token black friend.
I've seen that. DJ, what's your stance on that?
I think it depends on the mindset of the individual. I've seen celebrity interviews that about racial people saying that, I wasn't white enough for this race, I wasn't black enough for this race. And like I said this earlier in the chat, no race has a higher superior than any other race, okay? For the light-skinned people that think they have a better opportunity than the dark-skinned people, that might be true in some cases, but at the end of the day, especially back in the old days, you would be hanging from a tree next to the dark-skinned person. So don't eliminate yourself. A lot of times, black people, they were raped back in the day. So that's why you have a lot of biracial, families that developed. Now it's a little bit different because there's a lot of mixed races dating now, but you don't feel like you're entitled or that you're better because you're not all the way black. Doesn't mean that you're better than a black person or you're better than the white person because you're not all the way white. Don't feel too entitled. You're no different than I am. I'm human just like you. I hurt just like you. I'm happy just like you. I go through the emotions just like you. So you're not really no different.
Do you think of those black people? Do you see if a person like J-Lo identified as black, would you see her as a black person? Would you see someone, or Mariah Carey? Is she something other? Yeah, I'm asking you that. Is she something other?
No. Her dad is black. Mom is white.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think when you have a race, it's almost like certain races trump other races, because you'll say anybody that's mixed with black, usually, most likely, society will see them as black. A lot of times, because people were saying, they were like, Obama's not, they were like, well, he doesn't, on Fox News, they were saying, certain people were saying, well, he never acknowledges his white side. Now, you let a white woman, a white girl would have took Obama home and said, well, Dad, he's biracial. He identifies as black. They would have still not accepted him as being white because he doesn't pass. He's not one of those black people that pass. What's your stance on it, Jay?
You can be as fair and look white and still have a black baby. So at the end of the day, we should be the human race. That's what we should be. But due to racism in America that we had no control over, we didn't make these rules. Other people have made those rules for us. So my thing is we got to be very careful, because Vanessa Williams, as fair as she was, Suzette Charles was the one who was biracial. That was Miss New Jersey. But looking at Vanessa Williams, she would look like the one who was biracial. Well, she had two light parents. So I think we get into all of this. You're black. Even people who have a black grandmama know that deep down inside, they're black. Carol Channing knew that she was black. Not Doris Day, but another lady who was knew she was black.
But so, would you say they know they're black, Jay?
They know because they got a black parent. But
how far does that go back? What if you have a great grandparent that was black? Would you still be?
Of course, because it's going to show up in your DNA.
Not always.
This is why you have white people so surprised when they take that 23andMe and that Ancestry.com and find out that they have 15 and 20% African blood in them.
In that way, but not sure.
So my thing is this: if you know it and if you feel a certain kind of way about it, then you are. And we can try to say, well, they can pass or not, but for the mere fact that you got to hide it, that means that situation, that repression and all of that stuff affects you. You're still black. You're still black. And Obama identified as a black man. We've had too many people to pass, and I'm gonna say this story and I'm done. We've had too many people to pass wound up marrying a white man. Because there's a story this woman married a white man, and he was racist, and she knew it. And her daughter had to find out about this situation and found out that she was black. And then there was another man, had a black man who was passing, and the baby came up dark. And the woman was wondering how. Well, the man was black. So that grandmama gene, or that granddad gene rather, is going to come out at some point in time. So, it is what it is. I really don't get into movies. This is what America, as far as being an American, this is what we were given. And now it doesn't suit white people because now everybody is intermingling and it don't fit them.
But we do that as Black people. We ostracize people that are lighter, because I hear women all the time say, oh, that white, she ain't black, she white. But I can clearly see even people over here in this sector that are biracial sometimes get ostracized because they're not as black as other people.
But if another person had that color, but if that other person had that color, how would they wear it? See, it's easy to look at other people, but how would they wear it? It says to me that there's a lot of self-hate going on, and people need to look at themselves, because I am not intimidated by anyone. And so when you have to do that, then you're saying that color or that person, they intimidate me, and I think that they're better than me because I have to always point out the color.
Exactly. I would rather be the one that just say, oh, you know what? She's pretty. Why not just say that versus, oh, she ain't all the way black. She ain't all. That tells you a lot about your character.
It's a dig, DJ. So they go for that as a dig, but truly it's a dig on them because it shows that they are insecure or they feel that
that's exactly what. Exactly.
Conscious, what's your stance on it?
Can you rephrase the question real quick?
The question is, do you believe in the one drop rule? What are your thoughts on biracial people being less black? If you're, even if just someone of a lighter complexion, even if they're not biracial, do you think that you have to be a certain color to be able to embrace all of our cultural aspects of being black? Can a person much darker than you say the N-word when they're talking in general conversation, as opposed to someone being Mariah Carey's color? What's the difference? They may both identify as black people. What gives you the right to tell me I can't speak like you? We're all mixed. Black people here in this country, there's no one that's 100% African in this country. We all at least probably have 20% of some other race in us. And some of us had that color in us last night. Now, what were you going to say?
My God.
Oh, not me. I'm a virgin.
Tell it to the judge.
So, race is a social construct, for one. The issue with that construct is the gatekeepers of that construct controls who benefits from the concept of race. So now you have Black people who don't benefit at all from anything, having to fight desperately to gatekeep over the spaces that are theirs. And unfortunately, people, because race is also divided into two different things. You have Black in terms of your DNA, and then you have like the actual Black experience. And that's why we allow like white people who's been raised up with us to kind of be invited to the cookout. And we allow other races to kind of come and pedal off of the culture, like a Miley Cyrus or a Justin Timberlake, because there is a certain credence we give to people who assimilate to Blackness, who participate in Blackness, who seem to value Blackness. And as far as the one drop rule, like, look, whatever people are, they are. My issue is with the fact that one drop rule applies to everybody else as a justification to enter into spaces that maybe don't belong to them by 99.9% of it. But Black people don't get to do that. I don't get to claim to be Indian and then go slip and slide into the Indian community. I don't get to claim the white part of my DNA and slip and slide into white spaces either. Once again, those things really only benefit from those who are closer to whiteness, whether that's in complexion or whether that's in whatever. Like, it does not apply to melanated people. So for that reason, I don't mess with, probably already done messed up your monetization, already don't mess with the one drop rule. Okay. But I think ultimately, yeah, people who are actually biracial like Mariah Carey, she has access to both lanes, just like a bisexual has access to both lanes. You don't have to choose. You're literally smash dab right in between. And you can speak to those experiences on both sides if you've had those experiences on this side. But I do think that biracial people need to be careful because you are recognized more than likely by the outward surrounding community as white. You need to recognize your privilege, and you need to just be very mindful of your rhetoric. Be very mindful that you may be Black, but we're having two different experiences because of your biracial intersection. So, you know, my heart goes out to biracial people who have to be a part of these conversations, and I see them get ran over and bulldozed over. But yeah, they are Black, then they're just as Black. And I think it's ironic that we're speaking about stereotypes, and this is what I was saying, how even our own people stereotype. Because when we say Blackness, what we're talking about is a complexion like DJ's. And then we're also saying that DJ not only has to be his complexion, he also have to know who Martin is. He have to be raised on and live in color. He have to know how to butterfly. He have to have rhythm. He have to like chicken. We're thinking about all these attributes of Blackness that are not nuanced, that don't speak to all God-given Black people. And so, yeah, those stereotypes are real. It's nuts. But the one drop rule, you know what? Young Pharaoh said that white people are 60% human, 20% ladybug, and 30% mosquito. Okay, might be a truth to that.
Oh Lord! Look, we all don't have the same belief in the comment section and on the chat. Listen, we're all individuals, and I think that
I do, Jess. Thank you.
King Payne, what's your stance on that? The one drop rule.
I believe in the one drop rule, and anybody fortunate enough to have one drop of our royal DNA in their body is grateful. And that's that on that.
Okay. Well, you know, I do think that when you said about the bisexuality, that's only beneficial if it's applying to the women. That's a plus with women. It's not a plus with men saying that they're bisexual by society standards.
But you even have like the outward community always want to harp on men and say that if you identify as bi, just because you deal with men means that you're just strictly gay. The same way that they do like with the biracials, that like, oh, you're not fully Black. If you got white in you, then you're like something other than whatever Black is. And I'm just like,
and we can't
use that in arguments I've seen. What were you gonna say?
Well, Rebel Son, we can't say that because Andrew Gillens is bisexual. He still had his wife. Okay,
but he's going to be looked at differently after that came out. He's not going to be looked at as the same.
Yeah, he's gonna get more phone numbers.
People are not going to vote for him for anything. I'm willing to bet you that the Black
Do
church.
you not know that some people think that he will get votes? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know who's going to do that because that has to be a whole white following. But the Black folk ain't trying to hear that. And this is just unfortunate, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, I did a poll on my community page. I did a poll, and I asked the people, which gentleman panel member would you choose to be on the deserted island with for a week?
Oh, Lord.
Now, of course, if any of us did this poll on our platform, they're going to give the person that did the poll most of the votes. So it can be a little biased. So I'm going to take myself out of the equation and just add you guys, me for you guys. So I'm going to say they chose 16% said Brother Jay, 8% said Conscious TV, and there was a tie between Captivating and King Pain.
So I'm the second runner-up technically.
Yes.
Okay, but let's be clear. I would have been the winner because the only reason that they voted for Brother Jay is because he's sexual, and they're still hoping that a week is long enough to get the dick. See, I'm just
wait, hold on.
There's no benefit.
Maybe it's because they don't like the color of your hair.
They do. It's in the conversation.
So
They're
I'm
fans.
a fan.
They are a fan.
Well, anyhow, don't hate.
Okay, this was y'all some of the comments, y'all. Ladies, okay, come on now.
Just like the baby.
I
know I am beautiful.
They said, one person said, I picked King Pain because if he told me everything would be okay, it ended it with period to the Periana, I would,
To cut people.
The other question was, who on the gentleman's panel would you want to be your backup in a bar fight? Now, first place with that was King Pain by 19%. Second was Conscious TV with 9%. Brother Jay had 7%, and Captivating Womp Womp had 4%.
That's perfectly fine.
So some of the comments were funny as hell. Conscious, they said, Sweet Merciful said, Conscious, he gonna come out of that nose ring, bun, then bundles back and will meal for the gods.
Period.
Key Lolo said,
Thank you, Faith Substance.
Brother Jay, because by the time he done talking, the poor bar to death, not only will they just want him to shut up, they will cash app him to do it.
That's right. That's right.
So Miss Pete Philadelphia said, my baby, Jay Wilson. But I think, yes, I think the polls, listen, when you do a poll on your platform, I think you shouldn't even be in the poll because it's going to be biased because they're going to choose you anyway.
So how about, can y'all answer the question? Who would y'all want to be stuck with for a week on a panel, and who would y'all want in a bar fight?
Okay, that's an interesting. First, Yamik.
Who I want to be stuck with for a week out of all you guys?
Yes.
None of y'all. Like, that's crazy.
You have to pick someone, Yamik.
Oh my God. Like, that's so like weird. What state are you again?
I said the rudeness.
I'm sorry. What state are you getting, Rebel? What state are you
You're
getting?
supposed to be with you. You're supposed to have each other's action here.
I'm sorry. Like, I like New York. I want to stay here. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I like chocolate, so maybe DJ.
Oh, dark chocolate.
Didn't ask if DJ could build the boat. Didn't ask
And what was the other one? The bar fight? You said the bar fight? What was that one?
No. If you had to be stuck on an island for a week.
Oh, yeah, probably DJ. But you said it was two questions, right? A bar fight?
No. Just the island. That's the country.
Yeah. Probably DJ because chocolate with like swimming trunks and stuff. And palm trees and like mimosas and whatnot. Yeah, probably DJ.
He didn't ask if you could build a boat or nothing. Okay.
What can you build? I mean,
Jay Wilson.
Hey, Robert, what's going on?
Question.
Let me think about this.
Oh, because you're gonna be in trouble. Because someone like, look, we know you're in love, Jay Wilson. We just said
see Rebel now. See you bringing that up. I ain't even say nothing about that.
You kind of dance around the question. The question was either.
I'm trying to figure out who I want to be stuck with on the island. Can I just have some time, please? It definitely won't be you because you nagging. Okay, you nagging. You know what? To be honest, I would pick official King Pain because I would need somebody to keep me in stitches. He is a funny individual. You know what I'm saying? I could use his locks at times. You know, just in case we run out of rope or something, he can grow his hair.
Okay. Well, that's
But
it.
no,
That's
I think
very
official
ingenious.
campaign is fun. Okay, cut it, boo. Cut it.
We got to get off this island,
Okay, we
okay?
got to get off this island. See, he's about getting off the island. He's about action. So yeah.
Captivating.
I'm sorry, I would have to go with my fellow Cancer because we would be trying to get off the island. We wouldn't be going for it. We'd be trying to have a plan of action and get the hell off. No vacationing, no nothing. Just get the hell out of Dodge and gotta go. That's what it would be.
Is that King Pain is the Cancer?
Yeah.
Okay. So the locks are gonna stick together. I see that. DJ?
I would have to go for Rebel Son because I know how he thinks. I know his strongholds, shortcomings. I know where I can pick it where he lack or vice versa. So I would have to stick with somebody who I know that I can roll with. So Rebel for me.
Oh,
Ain't y'all dating? Ain't y'all a couple?
that's what they said. Yeah,
That's what they said last week. I don't know.
Okay, we're in a polygamy with Yamik. Well, I guess we're in a polygamy type of a relationship.
Yeah, because I think I'm dating New York too. I don't know.
Conscious.
I'm no side, nothing. It's either me or me. That's it. Me or me. Yamik or Yamik? Which one you want? Yamik or Yamik?
Conscious. You the one that posed the question. Who would you be on an island with?
Hello?
If we had to be on a deserted island for a week, I would definitely.
I guess I kind of think who you gonna say, but I'm listening.
I would definitely choose Rebel because you know how to survive a lot of one night stands. So I know that you know how to survive a deserted island. And as it relates to a bar fight, of course, I have to have my handy dandy official King Pain, honey, because I know that ain't nobody gonna nuck and buck and crime mob up in this place like I am, like the official King Pain. So definitely King Pain in a bar fight.
Okay.
And you know what? I have to think about who I would choose on an island. I think that I would have Conscious TV because I could definitely so we could use the hair to make a tent. I think that we could
not the unit.
Or we could catch some fish. Or we could get some fish, like use it as a line on some bamboo.
No, you can get that nail. The nail. You got to use the nail ring and jab the fish.
And he'll all the damn water he got drink. He could pee in a bucket, and we could kind of let the sun cure it, so it'd be healthy for him to drink, of course, because he like golden showers.
Hey. I'm not. I plead the fifth.
Bippity boppity boo.
Oh God, y'all. Okay.
Okay.
So we supposed to get out
of it all.
My turn. I didn't get the answer.
Okay, Cat. I'm sorry, King Pain. Who would you choose?
So, if I was stuck on an island, I would pick Captivating Christian, okay, because we both Cancers. I feel like we have a lot in common. Every time I got my hair up, he got his hair up. Every time my hair down, his hair is down. I don't know what it is.
Right. I don't know what it is, but it's crazy. It's
crazy. Live all the way across the country, but we got so much in common. And
it's
then
called lazy.
Our fight. Okay, I'm kidding. Of course, I'm picking Conscious TV.
Lazy.
Period. Y'all all don't give me the energy that I need. That I feel like, Conscious TV. If we was in a bar together and some shit went down, the whole bar be toe up.
Period.
All y'all be trying to calm us down. Me and Conscious be all the way turned up. Period.
Now, as far as your lazy comment, Mr. Wilson, it takes a lot to put all this hair up in the bun. We don't all have to grab the little sprinkle stuff and sprinkle it on top.
As far as being stuck on the island, though,
Jay can put his little hairpiece on.
Because I know how to survive on the island. I can make a bow and arrow from scratch. I can start a fire. I can go fishing. I can kill an animal or something. Like, we going to get up off of that island. We going to survive. Okay, period.
Get us some of the jungle men that are trade.
Oh, there, that's King Pain's thing. Yeah, sure. Get him.
Guys,
Sprinkle.
y'all,
Is this a record breaker on your channel, Rebel? Isn't that 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 53 seconds and counting?
Oh Lord Jesus!
Is that a record breaker?
I don't think that's a record.
That's cute.
God, I know. But we had some really long-winded people, so that's what took up a lot of the time. But you know, we had a great time.
It's called bad management.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, while you're there stuffing your gullet or whatever you eat,
Yes,
come on, trying to stop the camera like you in there, you moving them jaws still.
Come through, Grubhub.
Somebody hungry.
Somebody loves you, baby. Come on.
More like somebody was hungry, baby. More like somebody was hungry, baby. And we know who it is. Sing it. Sing it.
Okay.
Somebody was hungry, baby.
Baby. So, y'all, we're going to wrap it up, everyone. I had a great time tonight. Enjoy it, you guys, the guests that came on.
Yamik with a K. Woo!
Okay, Yamik the Freak. And then we had DJ.
I'm prude.
He's a born-again virgin.
I am prude.
Since last week.
I am also. DJ, always have fun with you.
Thank you.
We're going to have to definitely hang out this weekend. We're meeting up. North Side.
Come on.
Not North Side.
But guys, the next week it will be on King's Pain.
Come on, King Pain.
Yes.
Okay, you don't have no audition
Thank you,
that week. Okay, because we don't want to hear no audition. You don't have no audition.
No audition. Okay. Any more audition for a while?
Oh, for some trade.
No, because you know what I'm saying. I can't talk about it.
All right.
Okay, guys. But guys, so definitely anything coming up that you guys want to let everyone know. Yamik has a platform as well. Yamik, tell everyone what goes on your platform.
Yes, I have a platform. I think I'm gonna go live like either tomorrow. I'm gonna do like a reading because you guys know the new moon is tonight. I think it's a full moon or new moon. I should know this, right? It's my field. But it's the new moon tonight, and you guys should really like set your intentions and clear any bad vibes from your area. Look at King Pain and like get rid of any old friendships that are not working for you guys in your relationship. Get rid of them because we're going to a new season where we need to be focused and be headstrong. So let's remember that. And you can look at my platform. I'm Yamik on YouTube and Instagram, and I have also a podcast, the Soulful Elite Realness podcast as well on Spotify and Apple and Anchor and stuff.
You don't gotta wait till no full moon to protect your energy. And
you really don't.
That ain't good for
but
you.
it's specifically for tonight. You really should hone it in.
And see, I like an older man like Yamik that's very well versed in that kind of stuff.
Older than who?
How old? What you trying to say, Ralph?
I'll be 36 November. That's
how old are you, Yamik?
I'll be 36.
Oh, that's
okay, well preserved. You well pickled.
It runs in
Not pickled. It's Tom Ford over here. Ain't pickles, honey. Tom Ford, baby.
Oh,
okay.
We got good genes.
All right.
Dang. What you doing this week? What's coming up?
Just spending time at home and relaxing, and that's about it.
Oh, that's sweet. Are you gonna do any knitting, or making some preserves or something?
No, we're probably gonna go bowling, then we'll probably go to Lake Travis.
Hippie Hollow, huh?
What is a hippie hollow?
Oh, captivating.
Let me see what hippie hollow is.
I don't know what hippie hollow is, but anyway,
It's in Austin.
Oh, is it a bathhouse or something?
Hold on, let me see.
It's a place. It's a vacation spot
for adults, like a hedonism.
It's like the foot wash in Austin. So what are you, speaking of foot wash, captivating Christian? What are you?
Oh, it's a new beach. Nobody ain't going to that. Rebel.
Captivating.
Not doing much this weekend. Just catching up on my politics. Just want the people to know, please, your voting season is upon us. We are 47 days and counting until election day. So please make sure you get out and vote. If not, please make sure you apply for your absentee or your mail-in ballots. Find out where your Dropbox locations are so you can drop off your mail-in ballots if you don't feel like dropping them in the actual postal service because you feel unsafe with all that is going on. So please just vote. That's all I can say. That's what I can stress the most.
Okay. DJ, what about you? What's going on this week for you?
I am having lunch with a couple of co-workers Saturday and Sunday. I'll get with you. We'll try to get with the fellas and see what's going on. But again, thank y'all for having me on here. It's always good to see Lynn T and Faith and Just Jess and so many others. And just stay positive despite of all this negativity. And I was going to say this, but Cap had kind of beat me to it. Go out there and vote. I urge you to vote. Put Netflix on pause. Go and vote because we cannot have another 4 years of chaos and disaster. I don't know how we would make it. So please, your vote matters. There was a point where we used to protest because we couldn't vote. Now that we can vote, so let's get out there and vote.
Okay. Conscious TV, what's going on over there with you?
Not yet, Jess. I love you.
Well, what's going on in the immediate future is I'm going to be going live when I hang up with you guys. But I'm also going to be doing a dating series on my show. It's called Who Wants Balaran? For those of you who follow the grapevine, some of you may be aware of Balaran as a cast member. I've had him on one of them panels I did like a few months ago, but he's single, he's sexy, he's well preserved, and he's very much so available. So we want all women of color to submit, okay? As long as you got good credit, no kids, and you at least got one bad marriage under your belt, you are qualified, okay? You can email me at conscioustv@gmail.com, and we'll be running that for about a month and a half, and we'll just be following him on his dating experiences with these qualified women and weaning one chick off at a time until he gets his
So he didn't want no children, so he specified that no children.
No children. He wants to be the father of any of the children in your life. So yeah, no children coming in. He's a fresh start.
Good luck on that one.
That's almost 50% of your pop right there, boy.
It's a lot of what you mean. It's a lot of single women with no kids in the world.
Okay, they had church. They had church at the knitting circle and the sewing circle.
I will, just I promise.
Hey, what's going on with you this week?
Yeah, I was just asking Conscious TV. I said, why he not doing the matchmaking stuff for the gays? Why he choose to do it for the straights? Okay, because you could have called me up and I would have been on your show. Okay.
Okay, we might gotta work on that. I'm gonna hit you up. We'll work on that. I'll get it.
It won't be too many applicants if they trade. They won't. They kind of keep it on the low.
I was in San Quentin in 19.
Got tricks up her sleeve. She'll find a trade for me. Okay, I'm serious. So on my channel this week, I'm just keeping it lit. Make sure you guys check me out. There's a lot going on. I'm doing a lot of things that I can't talk about right now, but you guys are going to be able to see it really soon here. So I'm keeping it lit. My show, I Know You Effing Lying, is tomorrow. Make sure you guys check that out. I'm going to be talking about some celebrity gossip. I'm going to be dusting some dusty girls off. And it's just going to be a very lit experience. Just stay tuned. That's all I can say. And it's going on.
Okay. Well, guys, we're going to end this here. Catch us next week. King Payne's platform. It's been real. Much love to everybody else. We're out, y'all.
Bye.
The panel this week on my channel, that part.